So I just want to take this opportunity to share a real life story. I take my dog to the dog park 2 or 3 times a week, and last week I took my dog to the park, and it started to have a light rain. People started leaving. And I was there, and another woman was there named Betsy, and she asked me what I did for a living. So I told her, and she got all excited and told me, all these books that she had read about supplements and starting with Carlton Fredericks years ago, and that she had created this whole program for herself of probably about 20 different supplements that she takes. And I was just listening. And so I said to her, so you consider yourself an expert? And she goes, yeah, I guess I do. And I said to her, well, Betsy, do you know what ISO laboratory certification means? She said, no. I said, do you know what dissolution means as it pertains to supplements? And she said, no. And I said to her, do you know what bioavailability means? And she said, sort of, but not really. And I said to her, whatever company that you're using, have you ever asked and requested a copy of their certificate of authenticity of where they get their raw materials from? She said, no. I said, so you don't have any idea where it comes from, do you? And she goes, no. I said, well, let me explain something. The competition in the supplement business is so huge that in the last 5 to 7 years, almost everybody, over 95% of the companies out there have gone to China to source their raw materials to make their supplements. China is the most polluted place on earth. And I said to her, I'm willing to bet you any amount that you'd like to bet that you have over 2,000 of the most common toxins in your blood at an increased level due to the fact that you're taking the supplements that you're taking. And she said, oh, no way, that's just ridiculous. So I said, hey, I'm willing to even pay for the blood tests. So we sent her to a lab to have toxicology tests done. Turned out she had over 3,000 of the most common toxins, including very high levels of cadmium, mercury, iron, lead, and worst of all, benzene. Benzene's the second leading cause of cancer. The only thing more cancer causing than benzene is radiation. So like, if you were in Japan near where the radiological accident happened, or people were right around 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl, those people have super high incidence of cancer. So it turned out Betsy was not really an expert at all. And don't feel bad. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, and people start by reading books. But the point is, and I've done the same thing. I mean, when I was in college, I read a book on electricity, and I wanted to put in a circuit box instead of, the old screw-in, what do you call them? Those little screw-in things made of glass. And I was putting in this circuit breaker box when I electrocuted myself. So, it's like, no matter how smart you think you are, you're not an expert unless you're really an expert in that field. And it takes, not only does it take perhaps getting a PhD or an MD or an ND or, but it also takes years and years of practical experience and knowing the industry and knowing it well. So ISO, I'll tell you, ISO means is the highest laboratory certification that you can get. If you have one ISO, like ISO 9001, that's enough to be a pharmaceutical company. The laboratory that I use is the only one in the world that has both ISO 9001 and ISO 17025, and they only make all natural supplements, and they have a line of between 1,500 and 2,000, and they only sell to doctors, and there's a reason for that. Dissolution means is the rate at which a vitamin or any supplement dissolves in your body so that you can have bioavailability to the cellular level. Now, I have actually seen a person, including myself, I've bought many different types of calcium and seen it pass out whole in my stool, which means none of it dissolved, no dissolution at all, no bioavailability at all. And this is the problem with self-diagnosis and thinking that one is an expert because one reads books. Hey, I will never do electricity again because I'm not an expert. I call an electrician because an electrician is an expert, and I don't ever want to get electrocuted again. This lady, Betsy, when I asked her, okay, how long have you been taking this regimen of vitamin protocols and supplements and herbal supplements that you've been taking? And she said, like 10 years. And I asked her, well, how do you feel? And she goes, you know, I don't actually really feel that good. And then when the toxicology report came back in, well, there's a reason why she doesn't feel that good. Because the truth is, if she stayed on that another 10 years, without a doubt, she's at a huge risk for cancer or some other type of degenerative disease. So we really want to educate you. My job is more as an educator than anything else, because the great thing about the health industry and the health food industry is it's unregulated. So you have a lot of innovation, and I'm capable of doing great innovative things, and I appreciate that. The terrible thing about our industry is also that it's unregulated. There's nobody checking anything. So if you don't know these vitally important aspects about how the industry has changed and keeps adapting and changing over the last 5 to 10 years, you have no idea of what it is that's going in your mouth. You may think it's really, really helping you, and in fact, it may be poisoning you daily until some dreadful thing occurs. And so here at Optimal Health, we are really providers. That's why we call ourselves Optimal Health Providers Ltd, because we are providing not just product, but the service of educating, and everybody needs to know that what ISO certification means.